You know that feeling when you walk into a room and your entire body shifts. Your voice changes. Your laugh becomes different. Even the way you stand transforms into something practiced. You are not faking it. You are surviving it. Because somewhere, long ago, you learned that the real you was not safe enough to exist in public. This is not about social anxiety. This is about social erasure. The part of you that dims your light so others feel comfortable. The part that reads every micro-expression in a room and adjusts accordingly. The part that leaves every gathering exhausted, not because you talked too much, but because you performed too hard. You have been taught to see this as politeness, as maturity, as being a good person. But what if I told you it is actually a survival strategy you developed when you were too young to know you were building a cage? Fitting in is not connection. It is camouflage. And the price you pay for it is higher than you think. Let me paint you a picture. You are at a dinner party. Someone says something you disagree with. Not something offensive, just wrong, factually incorrect. Or maybe it goes against everything you believe about the world. And you feel it. That little spike of discomfort. The urge to speak. But then you do the calculation. You measure the room. You assess the social cost. You predict the shift in energy if you contradict them. And within 2 seconds, you have made the decision. You smile. You nod. You let it pass. Later, you tell yourself it was not worth it. That you were being mature. That picking battles is a sign of wisdom. But here is what actually happened. You chose the group over yourself. Not once. You do this dozens of times a day. In meetings. In texts. In conversations with friends. With family, with strangers. You are constantly asking, what version of me will make this easier? And every time you ask that question, you are fracturing. The mask is not a lie. It is a shield. Let me be clear. I'm not talking about basic social etiquette. I'm not saying you should walk around saying every thought that enters your mind. I am talking about the deep, chronic self-editing that happens so automatically you do not even realize you are doing it anymore. The kind where you laugh at jokes you do not find funny, where you agree with opinions you do not hold, where you minimize your achievements so others do not feel small, where you hide your pain so no one feels burdened. This is not politeness. This is self-abandonment. And it started earlier than you think. Think back. You were a child, maybe 5, maybe 7, and you said something honest. Maybe you told the truth about how you felt. Maybe you expressed excitement that was too loud. Maybe you cried when you were told to be strong. And someone, an adult, a peer, someone whose approval mattered, showed you that your honesty had a cost. They laughed. They dismissed you. They told you to stop being dramatic, to calm down, to not make a scene. That moment is still in your body. Because what you learned in that moment was not just that your feelings were wrong. You learned that you were too much, or not enough, or the wrong shape for the space you occupied. So you started adjusting. You learned which emotions were acceptable and which ones needed to be hidden. You learned which opinions got you praise and which ones got you isolated. You learned how to read a room before you even entered it. You became fluent in the language of other people's comfort. And you have been speaking it ever since. Psychologists call this social calibration, the ability to adjust your behavior based on social feedback. In small doses, it is adaptive. It helps us cooperate. It helps us build relationships. It keeps society from collapsing into chaos. But when it becomes your default mode, when you are calibrating constantly, reflexively, unconsciously, it stops being a tool. It becomes a prison. Because you are no longer choosing how to show up. You are reacting. You are performing. You are managing everyone else's emotional experience while neglecting your own. And the tragedy is this: the better you get at it, the more invisible you become. Here's the thing nobody tells you about fitting in. It does not actually make you likable. You think it does. You think that by softening your edges, hiding your weird, and mirroring the energy of the room, you are making yourself more appealing. But what you are actually doing is making yourself forgettable. Because people do not connect with masks. They connect with presence. With specificity, with the sharp corners and strange angles that make you unlike anyone else. When you sand yourself down to fit, you do not become universally loved. You become universally tolerated. And toleration is not intimacy. It is loneliness with an audience. Let me tell you what is happening on a neurological level. When you suppress your authentic response, when you smile instead of frown, agree instead of debate, shrink instead of expand, your brain registers a threat. Not an external threat, an internal one. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for social regulation, goes into overdrive. It is working to monitor your behavior, predict outcomes, manage your performance. Meanwhile, your limbic system, the emotional center, is screaming because it knows. It knows you just betrayed yourself. And that creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. The psychological discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs. In this case, I am safe here vs. I am not being myself here. Your body cannot resolve that paradox, so it stores it in your chest, in your throat, in the tension you carry in your shoulders, in the exhaustion you feel after social events, even when nothing particularly draining happened. You are not tired from the interaction. You are tired from the act of holding yourself together. And here is where it gets darker. The more you practice fitting in, the less you know who you actually are. Because identity is not some fixed, inherent thing. It is built through expression, through testing your thoughts against the world, through saying things out loud and seeing if they still feel true. But if you never say the true thing, you never get to know yourself. You become a collection of reactions, a composite of what other people seem to want, a mirror that reflects everyone but you. And one day, you wake up and realize you have no idea what you actually think, what you actually want, what you would choose if no one else was watching. This is not an identity crisis. This is identity erosion. And it happens so slowly, you do not even notice until you are hollow. Now, let me tell you about the other side, the part of you that resents it. Because you are not a passive participant in this. You are aware, on some level, that you are performing, that you are shrinking, that you are lying by omission every time you nod along. And that awareness breeds resentment, not toward the people you are performing for, toward yourself. You start to despise your own compliance, your inability to speak up, your reflexive need to make everyone comfortable. You see it as weakness, as cowardice, but it is not weakness. It is a survival instinct that outlived its usefulness. You are still operating from the belief system of a child who learned that acceptance was conditional, that love had requirements, that belonging meant erasing the parts of you that did not fit. Have you ever felt like you're wearing a mask? Like you're playing a role in someone else's movie, saying lines that aren't yours, and moving in ways that feel off? I think we've all been there. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with images of perfection. Perfect lives, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect relationships. It's plastered all over social media, in magazines, on TV. And it's so easy to look at all that and think, I'm not enough. That little voice in the back of your head starts whispering, telling you to change, to be more like them, to hide the parts of you that don't fit the mold. But what if I told you that your greatest strength, your most magnetic quality, your secret superpower, is the very thing you're trying to hide? What if the real you, the unfiltered, unedited, wonderfully messy you, is exactly what the world needs? Think about it. We scroll through endless feeds of curated perfection. But what really stops us? What makes us connect? It's not the flawless selfie. It's the post where someone shares a real struggle. It's the video where someone laughs so hard they snort. It's the story of a failure that led to an unexpected lesson. It's the moments of raw, unvarnished humanity. That's what we crave. That's authenticity. Authenticity isn't about being perfect. It's the complete opposite. It's about being real. It's the courage to show up as you are, with all your quirks, your passions, your weird sense of humor, your scars, and your unique perspective. It's about letting your inside match your outside. For so long, I tried to be what I thought everyone wanted me to be. I tried to be quieter, to laugh less loudly, to sand down my rough edges. I thought that by fitting in, I would find acceptance and happiness. But all it did was make me feel hollow. It was exhausting, trying to keep up the act. It felt like I was holding my breath all the time. The moment I started to let go, the moment I decided to just be me, everything changed. Was it scary? Absolutely. You worry that people won't like the real you. And you know what? Some of them might not. But here's the beautiful truth. The people who are meant to be in your life will love you for who you are, not for the character you're playing. The right people, your people, will be drawn to your light when you finally let it shine. Pretending to be someone else only attracts people who are in love with a ghost. Self-acceptance is the first step on this journey. It is looking in the mirror and deciding to be your own best friend instead of your own worst critic. We are so hard on ourselves. We replay our mistakes. We zoom in on our flaws. We compare our behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's highlight reel. It's time to stop. Let's make a deal. The next time you hear that negative voice in your head, I want you to challenge it. If it says, "You're not smart enough," you say, "I'm always learning and growing." If it says, "You're not attractive enough," you say, "My body is a vessel for my incredible spirit, and it's doing an amazing job." Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer a dear friend. Because you deserve it. Self-acceptance is an active process. It's about acknowledging your weaknesses without letting them define you. It's about celebrating your strengths, even the small ones. Did you get out of bed today when it felt impossible? That's a win. Did you make someone smile? That's a win. Did you try something new, even if you failed? That is a huge win. Start collecting these little victories. They build a foundation of self-worth that is unshakable. And remember, your story is uniquely yours. Your experiences, your challenges, your triumphs, they have shaped you into the incredible person you are today. Nobody else on this planet has your exact combination of talents, thoughts, and feelings. Don't rob the world of that gift by trying to be a carbon copy of someone else. Your weirdness is your magic. The things you think are your flaws are often the very things that make you interesting and relatable. Think of the people you admire most. Are they perfect? No, more often than not. They are people who own their story. They are unapologetically themselves. They speak their truth. They pursue their passions with fire. And they aren't afraid to be vulnerable. That is true confidence. It doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from being whole. So how do you start? You start small. Maybe today, you wear that bright color you love but were told was too much. Maybe you share an opinion in a meeting instead of staying silent. Maybe you finally start that hobby you've been dreaming about, without worrying if you'll be good at it. Each small act of authenticity is a step back to yourself. It's a declaration that you are worthy, just as you are. It's also crucial to curate your environment. Surround yourself with people who lift you up and celebrate your uniqueness. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel inadequate. Consume content that inspires and educates you. Content that makes you compare and despair. Your environment has a massive impact on your self-perception. Make it a sanctuary, not a battleground. This journey of self-acceptance and authenticity is not a one-time destination. It's a lifelong practice. There will be days when it feels hard, when that old mask looks tempting. That's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Just wake up the next day and try again. Each sunrise is a new invitation to be true to yourself. Living authentically is the most freeing experience you can give yourself. It is the relief of finally putting down a heavy weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. It's the joy of deep, genuine connection with others. It's the power that comes from knowing and loving who you truly are. So today, I challenge you. Take off the mask. Let your true self be seen. Embrace your quirks, celebrate your story, and step into the incredible power of your own authenticity. The world is waiting for you, the real you. And trust me, you are more than enough. You always have been. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that helps you live your most authentic, powerful life. See you in the next one.